Well, North Korea plans to send a high-ranking delegation to the closing ceremony of the Pyeongchang, Winter Olympics in what's seen as another step towards better relations with the South. Let's talk about this with Yoon Young-kwan, who's a professor emeritus at the Seoul National University and also a former South Korean foreign minister. Professor, great to have you. The Games are coming to a close. What are your thoughts on the significance of the North's participation and whether this kind of sports diplomacy, it's been very positive throughout the past, 10 days or so, but does it have longer lasting implications?
Yes, I think it was an important event in the sense that there was high tension on the Korean Peninsula. Some specialists estimated the possibility of war on the Korean Peninsula as high as 50%, for example. So we could have at least 3 months of reprieve, which is very precious. And I think that was the positive impact of the Olympic game. And I sincerely hope that there will be, continuation of this calming down of the tension on the Korean Peninsula even after the end of Olympic game.
One of the significant overtures was this invitation for South Korean leaders, for the president to hold meetings in the north to have a visit. First of all, do you think this is likely to happen? And if it does happen, what would these negotiations be? And what does it tell us about potential sanctions and talks over denuclearization?
If the summit meeting can happen between two Koreas, the most important issue, of course, will be denuclearization of North Korea. And from the South Korean perspective, the most important thing is how to persuade a North Korean leader to change his mind on his strategy of developing nuclear and missile technology. And in addition to that, how to settle peace on the Korean Peninsula is very important, considering the high tension before the Olympics. So reducing the tension in the DMZ areas, that would be another important issue. And probably another issue would be reunion of separated families. That has been long-term agenda for Korean people. They have been separating for decades without meeting each other. So if our leader can achieve those goals, that would turn out to be a successful summit meeting.
Yeah, a lot at stake just on the sort of personal human front, right? But do you think realistically trying to get around this point of denuclearization is actually a realistic goal? Because from what we've seen so far, Pyongyang is not willing to even talk about that. And the United States, for example, have been very unwilling to go to talks without that as a precondition.
Yes, that's an important question because actually we don't have other alternative than trying to persuade North Korea to change their strategy, because if North Korea becomes a nuclear state, this region, Northeast Asia, will become much more dangerous region because there will be some possibility of a nuclear proliferation in this region. The leaders of South Korea as well as Japan may think twice about nuclear policy. For example, they may seriously consider nuclear option. And this will be a very dangerous world because this is, always there has been high tension in this region. So we need to continue our diplomatic efforts and persuade North Korean leader to give up their nuclear option. So there is not much alternative than continuing our diplomatic efforts. And also, nuclearizing themselves will not be a safe way for North Koreans. Probably, giving up nuclear option would be a more safe strategy for them from their own perspective. So how to do that? That will be an important issue.